Many Americans made the wrong vote. Many Americans, as they've done for a long time, voted
Welcome to
against
Politics
your
Done Right.
interests.
I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right.
Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics and Right. I'm Egberto Willies, your host. Thank you so kind for being a part of the show. We're having a little bit of technical problems here. Let me get that fixed. And I think I got it fixed. Great. All right. Okay. How's my peeps doing? How are my peeps doing? I trust everybody is doing fine. We're going to have a great show for you today. Let's see. Welcome aboard in the house today. Starting off the show, Patrick Magner, meow, he says from Houston, Texas. Yvette Avery Herod from Atlanta, Georgia is in the house. We also have AVQ. Michael Rudnin from Brooklyn, New York says, my apologies, watching at a different live stream today. Catch you next week. Watching a different live stream today. You are watching a live stream other than Politics Done Right? Oh my God, Mr. Rudnin. All right, inside EVs, Tesla sales are tanking across the world. Blame the Musk effect, declining EV subsidies, or all of the above. But Tesla global sales are off to a very bad start for 2025. I think that most EV buyers are left learning because of the rights co-opted by big oil, and that nobody wants to make major purchases from their political opposition. But you know what else? China has some great EVs that are at good pricing. And guess what? While we are 4.5% of the world, there is 95% of the world waiting to buy EV. And while we mess around with our determination if we are going green, China decided to do it, and China subsidized all kind of stuff all over the world. Folks, again, when you have dummies in charge of the hen house, all your hens get eaten. I just created that. I just made that up. Don't know if it make any sense or not. All right, let's see what else we got here. Michael Rodin Egberto reminds me of this bumper sticker. I bought this before Elon went crazy. I love that one. Let's show the folks that one. Let's show our people that. Let me put that on the center screen. Block my face out, but let's put that on the center screen. There it is. I bought this before Elon went crazy. Yes. And Elon is, in effect, I don't think Elon is crazy. I think he's a nutcase. I think he's gotten a taste of power, and he likes the way it feels. And believe it or not, some people like that feeling when they become a villain. I think that's who he is. All right, let's continue. Michael says, The Guardian, UK, U.S. prosecutors moves to drop Eric Adams' charge. They can't find any prosecutors to do it, guys. Think about it. Nobody wants to put their name on that piece of dirt, right? Okay, continuing. We also have Paul Fleming in the house from Powder Springs, Georgia. He says the federal civilian worker payroll total $271 billion in 2022. The annual cost of permanently extending Trump's tax cuts, primarily to the rich individuals, $400 billion is what it costs. Keep this in mind as Trump and Doge lay off thousands of federal workers. Let's remember that. The guy is a thug. All right, continuing. Paul Fleming said, hey, Joe is in the house from Joanna from Los Angeles, California. She says Paul says hundreds of staff at the agency responsible for maintaining the U.S. nuclear stockpile were fired Thursday in the wave of mass Trump administration terminations. Multiple current and former employees told ABC News. Thanks for that link. Let's see what else we got here. All right, folks, here's how I want. Bridge MCP from Binghamton, New York is in the house. Hey, Bridge, I always say Binghamton, New York. How do you spell it? Can you type it into chat for me? I don't think I know how to spell that right. Lissarin Greaves from Summerwood is in the house. How you doing, beautiful? Great to have you here. Who else is in the house? Eric Hayes from Atascocita Kingwood is in the house. And Jay Ray from Houston, Texas, he says, greetings, Egberto, and to the posse. All right. Today I have Bruce Pollard is in the house. The house is huge. Yes, but Trump would say huge, not huge. Huge. Anyway, folks, we're going to have a great show for you today. Don't forget to call in numbers 281-823-7747. But before we get started, let me tell you a little thing that happened this morning. And I don't know if they got it, Binghamton. Okay, it's Binghamton, New York. Binghamton, New York. Thank you, Breach. All right, here is the deal. This morning on our KPFT show, something happened. Not on our show, but to our station. The transmitter, the 100,000 watt transmitter went out. So we are here running the program. And as you know, in the morning, it takes a different telephone number to call in. So in the middle of all of this, I said, you know what? We still had our YouTube viewers, or our Facebook Live viewers, our Substack viewers, our Instagram, Twitch, all these viewers were still there. So I said, you know what? We're going to still take calls. So, I mean, we ran that. I only think I got 2 calls, though. 2 or 3 calls. Normally, we get 15, 20 calls, right? But the show went on. And we still have it taped, and it's going to be in the podcast for Substack and all the other places as well. All right, just joining us from Austin, Texas is Lee the Bearcat. He says, hi, are most workers being let go contract or probation basis? Yes, that's who they can let go easily. That's why they're choosing the folks that are on probation and those that are contract workers. All right, Alisarian Dream says, no wonder I couldn't hear on the radio. Yep, the tower. The entire 100-watt transmitter went down. I don't know if it's fixed yet. I got to call Howard and figure out if they found out what the problem was. All right, Flashy Buddy. Looking forward to seeing what Doge can discover in government funds. Wow, Doge is well, anyway, we're not going to talk about it quite like that yet. But anyhow, I want to start the program with the marching orders. Let's see beforehand. Bruce Pollard says, I got a new right lens with no cataract. Is the swelling down yet that you can actually see real well with it? It took me about 3 days. And after 3 days, that vision was impeccable. It was so good. It was scary when I did those surgery. I did it on both eyes. I hope it all worked out fine, Bruce. All right, folks. We've got some marching orders. Well, Politics Done Right gives you marching orders every day, right? What we have to do to save our democracy. But you know, that guy that we love because he revived the progressive movement in the United States, and he almost pulled it off. He gave what I call the marching orders speech that I want everybody to hear. Now, he's talking about a lot of stuff that we've discussed on this program many times, but coming from this guy, coming from Bernie Sanders, I love the way he articulated it and wrote it. So check it out, and then we'll take it on the other side.
I do not often find myself in the habit of thanking Elon Musk, but I must confess that he has done an exceptional job of demonstrating a point that a few of us have been making for years, and that is the reality that we live in an oligarchic society in which billionaires dominate not only our politics and the information we consume from media, but our government and economic lives as well. That has never been clearer than it is today. But given the news and attention Mr. Musk has been getting over the last few weeks, as he illegally and unconstitutionally dismantles government agencies, I think it is an appropriate time to ask the question that the media and most politicians don't seem to be asking. What do he and other multi-billionaires really want? What is their endgame? In my opinion, what Musk and those around him are aggressively striving for is not novel, it is not complicated, and it is not new. It is what ruling classes throughout history have always wanted and have always believed is theirs by right. More power, more control, and more wealth. And they don't want ordinary people, that's you, and democracy getting in their way. They want it all. Elon Musk and his fellow oligarchs believe government and laws are simply an impediment to their interests and what they are entitled to. In pre-revolutionary America, before the 1770s, the ruling class governed through a doctrine called the divine rights of kings. The belief that the King of England was an agent of God and he was not to be questioned by mere mortals. In modern times, we no longer have the divine right of kings. What we now have is an ideology being pushed by the oligarchs, which says that as very, very wealthy people, often self-made, often as the masters of revolutionary new technology, it is their absolute right to rule. In other words, these modern-day oligarchs are our kings. And it is not just power, it's incredible wealth that they have. Today, Mr. Musk is worth $402 billion. Zuckerberg is worth $252 billion. Bezos is worth $249 billion. With combined wealth of over $900 billion, these three people own more wealth than the bottom half of American society. Not surprisingly, since Trump was elected, their wealth has soared. Musk has become $138 billion richer. Zuckerberg has become $49 billion richer. And Bezos has become $28 billion richer, all since Election Day. Meanwhile, while the very rich become much richer, 60% of Americans live paycheck to paychecks. 85 million are uninsured or underinsured. 25% of seniors are trying to survive on $15,000 a year or less. 800,000 are homeless, and we have the highest rate of childhood poverty of almost any major country on earth. Do you think for 1 second that the oligarchs give a damn about working people? Trust me, they don't. Musk's decision to dismember USAID means that tens of thousands of the poorest people around the world will go hungry or die of preventable diseases. But it's not just abroad. Here in the United States, they will soon be going after the healthcare, nutrition, housing, and educational programs that protect the most vulnerable people in our country, all so that Congress can provide huge tax breaks for them and their fellow billionaires. As modern-day kings who believe they have the absolute right to rule, they will sacrifice without hesitation the well-being of working people to protect their interests. Further, they will use the enormous media operations they own to deflect attention away from the impact of their policies while they entertain us to death. Mr. Musk owns Twitter. Mr. Zuckerberg owns Meta, which includes Facebook and Instagram, and Mr. Bezos owns the Washington Post and Twitch. Further, they and their fellow oligarchs will continue to spend huge amounts of money to buy politicians in both major political parties. Bottom line, the oligarchs, with their enormous resources, are waging a war against the working class of this country, and it is a war that they are intent on winning. Now, I'm not going to kid you. The problems this country faces right now are extremely serious. The economy is rigged. Our campaign finance system is corrupt. And we are struggling to control climate change, an existential threat to our planet, among many, many other important issues. But this is what I do know. The worst fear that the ruling class in this country has is that Americans, black, white, Latino, urban and rural, gay and straight, young and old, that all of us will come together to demand a government that represents all of the people in our country, not just the wealthy few. The oligarch's nightmare is that we will not allow ourselves to be divided up by race, religion, sexual orientation, or country of origin, and will together have the courage to take them on. Will this struggle be easy? Absolutely not. And one of the reasons for that is that the ruling class of this country will constantly remind you that they have all the power. They control the government. They own the media. You want to take us on? Good luck, they will say. There is nothing you can do about it. But our job right now, in these very difficult times, is to not forget the great struggles and sacrifices that millions of people have waged over the several centuries to create a more democratic, just, and humane society. Think about it. Over the last number of centuries, how many people have stood up and fought? And when they were doing that, you know what their contemporaries said? They said, hey, you want to overthrow the King of England to create a new nation and self-rule? Forget about it. Impossible. You want to establish universal suffrage, right of all people to vote? Impossible. Can't happen. You want to end slavery and segregation? Impossible. You want to grant workers the right to form unions and end child labor? Can't be done. Impossible. You want to give women control over their own bodies? Who are you kidding? Impossible. Can't be done. You want to pass legislation to establish Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, a minimum wage, clean air and water standards? Impossible. In other words, as Nelson Mandela told us, everything is impossible until it is done. In these difficult times, despair is not an option. We've got to fight back in every way we can. We have to get involved in the political process, run for office, connect with our local, state, and federal legislators, donate to candidates who will fight for the working class in this country. We have got to create new channels for communication and information sharing. We have to volunteer not just politically, but to build community locally. Whatever we can do is what we must do. Needless to say, I intend to do my part, both inside the Beltway and traveling throughout the country, to stand up for working families and to take on the oligarchy. In the days, weeks, and months ahead, I hope you will join me in that struggle. We can win, we will win, we must win.
We absolutely must win. And you know what? We will win, because all of you here are going to form or be a part of that big win. All right, let's see. Bridge MCP, anybody saw this, Egberto? Yes, Chernobyl was hit today. Actually, the outer shell, that concrete shell that is there to prevent radiation, where they fly in one of those automated drones from Russia. Yes, that's true. Lee the Bearcat says, weren't Elon's and Tulsi's Bernie supporters? Yeah, they used to be. They were supporters. Is Bernie a millionaire? Yeah, I don't have anything against millionaires at all. I don't have anything against millionaires. Look, I could have been a millionaire, didn't go through the process of doing it, but with my own hands, with my own knowledge. I created ComDRV, I created MTask, I created ComLog, I created all these software packages used not only at NASA and Boeing and all these places, but, as soon as I reached a certain place, I told that story many a times before. I decided to do this instead, to put my effort into activism so that other so that we would be more equitable distributed. This guy sold a lot of books, and he sold each of his books, and that books brought him in millions of dollars, not a whole bunch of millions, probably $4 or $5 million total is what he has, right? There's nothing wrong with that. I have friends that have $10 million, $15 million. Most of them, as soon as they reached a certain amount, their character, however, some of them change into not understanding that that $1 million. Look, I don't have a problem with millionaires. I have a problem with people who didn't earn their money. Elon Musk didn't earn his money. Other people earned it for him. If I showed you my product database, you would look at it and you'll say, "Oh my God, you should be a multimillionaire given the amount of products that you have, you release, that you made with your own mind, with your own writings, etc." So my point is, it's not against millionaires; it's against those who didn't earn their money. And most of these millionaires and billionaires didn't earn their money; they made it off of others. All right. Bridge MCP, no, billion and million are vastly different. Also, what they do with the money. Exactly right, Bridge. Let's see what else we got here. Eddie Hart says, I just have a question. Should Java applications continue to have you ever committed a crime? If we have a citizen who said, now the president of the United States with 31 convictions, actually, isn't it 34? Whatever the case is, yep. If a criminal can be president of the United States, it seems like you should be able to get any job, criminal or not, right? I agree with you, Eddie Nart. Leader Bearcat says, why are people so worried about what they can't control? Actually, why that's not true. We can control everything in this country because the government is we the people, and we the people write the laws. And we the people are the ones who allow the different designs of an economic system. So we the people can change the economic system to be more equitable. Alessandro Dream, ask Egberto for the clip. He will post it. What is that clip? Where can I find a link to this video? I'll send you a link to the video, sis. All right, let's see what else we have here. Bridge says, Egberto, can you post the link? I will. I don't have it right this minute, but I'll post it for you. I promise after the other video, I'll get it uploaded and I'll send you the link. All right, let's see. Tom C. from Michigan. Welcome aboard, my dear brother. As long as those millionaires and billionaires pay their fair share of taxes, support them. Exactly. But the only difference I think I may have with you, Tom C., is how you got your money, right? I think it is, in my opinion, it is completely unfair for you to have gotten billions of dollars on other people's backs, because again, what you have done is extracted out of an economy what's not your fair share based on your production to that society. And when that occurs, your billion is monies that's unpaid to others. Your billions are wealth that others are unable to attain in an economy that's growing at a certain percentage, where your percentage grow because of your ill doings with others. So that's where I think and yeah, by the way, I do agree. Everybody should pay their fair share in taxes. Patrick Magner says, demagogue, a leader who abstains power by impassioned appeals to the emotions or prejudices of the populace. Qualifies Donald Trump perfectly. Lead the Bearcat says, so Bernie and Nancy and Biden and Mitch and or others paying their fair share? No, they're. Oh, let me back up. I don't know, but if they're paying what the tax codes say they're going to pay without trying to find ridiculous loopholes, they are. But I would like to take more out of them. Let me give an example. Bernie Sanders sells a lot of books, okay? And I'm pretty sure if Bernie Sanders, if the tax rate went up to 90% on income over a certain value, Bernie won't object at all. And because again, we have to realize that there are in fact defects in the economic system that allows one to continue making a whole lot of money at the expense of others. Let's give an example. After development of a drug has recovered the amount of money some investor has put in a private company, who pays? We continue to pay that sort of a bill when most of the times the whole framework of society, universities where the raw materials was first developed, all these different areas where we the collective are the ones responsible for said discovery, while a few take advantage of the spoils. I didn't explain that as good as I should, but I think many of you get my drift. Bernie is still my guy. Bernie will always be my guy, man. That's the reason I was a delegate in Philadelphia for Bernie. Time to get back to work, and that's what we're doing, Bruce. And you're an integral part of us doing that work. You have always been an integral part of doing that work, brother. As well as Bridge MCP and Michael Rutnin and all of you who make sure and put the work in. You always have been. All right, Claire says MAGA people need to acknowledge their racism and sexism and that they were used to and apologize. Then they need to get into the fight and try to make things right. And with that comes my second video. Actually, first, let's go ahead and play a video of this MAGA farmer because I think a lot of you are going to get quite a bit out of it. This MAGA farmer wants to atone. She realizes that her vote and the vote of a lot of MAGA that she knows were against their own interests, but not only against their own interests, but against many of their family, their relatives, people they know, and the country at large. And for that, she wants to atone. So why don't we go ahead and play her and then we'll take it on the other side.
The bandwagon of saying that I regret my vote for Trump. My whole family does. My husband and I own a farm in Ohio that was funded through the Inflation Reduction Act, which Biden signed into law. And now the executive orders from Trump are rolling back all of that funding for us. So now we can no longer afford our farm. And when all that happened, it was like a lightning bolt hit my brain. And I realized that I shouldn't just be voting for myself, that Trump's policies and EOs are hurting millions of people. But it took it affecting me personally to understand what I had done was wrong. And I think it's really important for anyone to come out who voted for him and is now negatively impacted by the executive orders, or maybe you have friends or family, especially in minority communities, who are being very heavily impacted by what's going on right now. So yeah, I think it's time for us to stop being so selfish maybe and to vote for what's best for the country instead of just in our tiny little bubble, because we're all in the same boat now and we're all equally screwed by our new president. Yeah, I want to jump on the bandwagon of saying...
And I could not have said that any better. And there are a lot of people that are starting to realize that, in fact, if you look at one of the other items that I was going to discuss, Donald Trump simply screwed everybody. He fooled everybody. He lied to his people. All of this he did. And a lot of the gullible just ate it up. They just ate it up. Do you remember this, folks? Let me put this on the screen. Do you remember this? Are your grocery bills lower? January 20, 2025. The day that Donald Trump went into office, $6.55 for eggs. Today, $7.55. You can look at oil, you can look at a lot of other things. He was coming to save the country. But instead, now that he's in power, the oligarchs, the thugs, they feel liberated that they can continue raising your prices, because we're getting rid of the CFPB. We're getting rid of all these institutions that are there to make sure the oligarchy doesn't screw you. So we have Elon Musk and Doge under the pretext of government efficiency, getting rid of the people out there that we're going to protect you. Yes, MAGA made a mistake. Those who voted for Donald Trump made grave mistakes. Those who voted for Donald Trump are wrong. Earlier, I read an article in Common Dreams, and that article was titled, and I want to make sure and bring it, see if I can find it. Actually, I tell you what, I'm going to play the next video from this morning at KPFT, where I told MAGA that they still have some time to atone for their mistakes, to correct their mistakes. Brother, you don't have to come to some progressive and say I made a mistake, but you just need to do the right thing. Call your congresspersons and tell them, leave my Social Security alone, leave my Medicaid alone, leave my SNAP alone, leave my health care alone. Leave it alone. Do not touch it. Again, because like I've told my MAGA brothers and sisters, all of you in the red states, you guys are getting screwed more so than any of our folks in blue states, any of our folks in blue areas. You guys are the ones who are losing your hospitals. You know, the poor people in Houston can still go to Bentab. If you're in Timbuktu, red state, you don't have where to go because the lack of Medicaid funds will assure that your hospitals and clinics are closed. That's the truth. That's what's been happening. But here is my message to you all. Many Americans made the wrong vote. Many Americans, as they've done for a long time, voted against your interest. They did so even as many of us explained that those people on Social Security, Medicaid, those that are veterans, those that are on food stamps, those that require any kind of services from the government, whether cash, whether food, or whether policies that ensure they can see a doctor even as they pay for it themselves, that those are the people that would be most affected by the election of Donald Trump, and that the only folks that would really, really benefit from Donald Trump's elections are the wealthy people that would get that tax cuts that came out of your pocket. We explained that. But many a times, because of personal prejudices, people just don't believe it, they don't see it, or they remain willfully ignorant. The media in this country has a policy that they never go out there and tell the American population that vote would be a bad vote. You harm yourself with that vote. And having the media talk about these issues as 50 half dozen of one, six on the other, harms the country royally. But that's now water under the bridge. We have a president, a convicted felon who is the president of the United States, that now is elected and will be there 4 years. We also have a Congress that refuses to check the president, which means let him know that real impeachment is on the table if he breaks the law. We'd have a Congress that is unwilling to do that, a Republican Congress unwilling to do that. But all of you that are feeling the harm and that will feel further harm from this presidency have a choice now. And that choice is to give your congressional representative a spine. While the reason why these congressional representatives and senators are scared to buck Donald Trump, even as they know what Donald Trump is doing is going to harm their citizens, the reason why they continue to support him blindly is because of you. They believe that no matter what, you, the citizens who voted for Donald Trump, who will be aggrieved by Donald Trump, will somehow stick with Donald Trump. And what I'm telling you out there right now is once you show them that what you want are the policies that protect you, and once they understand that you understand that Donald Trump is failing to provide you, they will immediately begin to act. Because at that point, they know that you want them to act within the constitutional realms for what needs to be done, and they can put a check on Donald Trump and prevent him from further destabilizing the United States and destabilizing the world. So, yes, you made a bad vote. You made a terrible vote. We're all human. We can all err. But what we can all do is also fix our mistakes. It's on you. Those of you, the congressional representatives already have those of us who made the right vote. Those of us who said we wanted to protect America and the world. They have our vote. There's no convincing us that needs to be done. They need to know that you who made the wrong vote. And the first thing about being a good human being, a good American, is to say, yeah, I messed up. Just like I told Glenn, when Glenn asked me, are you partially responsible for what Biden did in Gaza through Netanyahu? The answer is yes, I am. But there was a reason for my choice. Put it on a balance, and where would more death and suffering occur? We're seeing it now. So yes, my friends, it is time for all of us to take responsibility. And those who made the bad vote, those who made the wrong vote, you can redeem yourself by making your representative know that you want them to ensure that they don't take your tax dollars and give it away. So let me tell you, folks, the calls are coming in lightning bolts. And even Republicans are starting to get calls from their constituents because they're starting to realize that Musk and Trump are about to screw them. Just like that farmer said, what she realized, they left holding the bag. They realized they've been screwed. So I don't know. One of the reasons Donald Trump wanted to hurry up and pass one big reconciliation bill was to make sure that before all of you woke up, before you guys got woke, that he would have been able to steal from you, take your money, take your Social Security, take your SNAP, take your Medicaid, take it all. They were hoping that you wouldn't be awakened. But that's what we're here for, my brothers and sisters. We're here to wake you up. And you don't have to go confessing to some liberal, some bleeding heart liberal that you are wrong. We don't need you to come and say you are wrong. I want you to know, first of all, you are wrong. You were wrong. I've been wrong before. I've atoned for being wrong. I've atoned for being a homophobe. I've atoned for being a sexist. I took my big boy trousers on, admitted that I was a damn fool, admitted that I made a mistake, admitted that I was an idiot. I corrected myself. I didn't ask anybody to pat me on the back for doing something that I should have done in the first place, but never to do it again and to make sure and correct the mistake. That is your calling now, MAGA. Your job, MAGA, to prevent you from screwing your mama, your daddy, and all that your friends, that most of them that need a working government. It is on you to tell your representative. You don't have to tell the libs that we were right. We don't care about that. But it's on you to go ahead and say, you know what? I need to swallow my pride, my personal pride. It's not for me you're doing it. It's not for any lib you're doing it. Swallow your pride, lest you go down further to the poorhouse. Follow your pride, lest you kill a lot of the people you purport to love. Do the right thing, call up your representative, and let them know that if they ever take away your social safety net, your family's social safety net, your friends' social safety net, that you would make sure they never again see the halls of Congress again. That is what they hear. And that is how you buck that fascist orange felon in the White House. That is how you do it. That is what needs to be done. And when you do that, you would have really asserted a democracy. Like I said, the piece that I wanted to bring to you, my brothers and sisters, is the following. The last taboo. Why are voters never held responsible for their choices? That's a problem with our media. Rarely would our media come out and say the people made the wrong vote. The people did the wrong thing. Yes, a vote can be right or wrong or not matter. In this case, having elected Donald Trump, in this case, having allowed a Hegseth to be our defense secretary who went over to Europe and made a fool of himself. I tell you, elections do matter, and holding those who elect the incompetent because of prejudicial reasons, you should be held accountable. So, my brothers and sisters that are MAGA, no ill feelings here, but do the right thing. Do the right thing and call your representative and let it be known that you screwed up and etc. Thank you for that, Bridge. Bridge just put a very important piece in the in thank you for that, Bridge. I hadn't seen that at all, but thank you for that. This is what Bridge put on the screen for us to do our due diligence. Let me put that on the screen. We need to do our due diligence. It is at fivecalls.org. Fivecalls.org. Make your voice heard. MAGA, this applies to you too. You can still correct the mistake that would have cost you or many that you know their lives. You still have an option to do so. All right, let's see what else we got here that I need to talk about. And by the way, folks, I showed you all the videos that I wanted to show you already. We still have about 10 minutes to go, so give me a call, 281-823-7747. Again, that number is 281-823-7747. I'm here ready to take your calls. Una vez más, that is 281-823-7747. Give me a call if you so desire, as I have no more videos for the day, but we can chat. Let me see what else you guys have in the chat. Let's see. Vote your interest. If people had voted their interest, Kamala Harris would have won in a landslide, because when they took the names off the policies and showed the average American, by a landslide, they chose the policies of Kamala Harris. You put Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump, it went to 50-50. What can I say? Sad, but that's a reality. Prejudice still exists. Racism still exists. Sexism still exists. All right, let's see what else we got here. MAGA feels liberated because they can continue their racism and bigotry. They can continue that, Bridge, but you know what is a counter to that? When they can't eat, right? And that's where a lot of them are starting to see. You have TikTok videos now where people said, I didn't know he was going to take my snap from West Virginia. I didn't know he was going to take my snap. That was the worst vote I've ever made. It's amazing. My sister.
AI is taking notes. Right.
Okay, turn it down, my sister Peggy Lopez, so we don't get the feedback. How are you doing, Peggy?
I think I've got it down. I don't know what feedback we're hearing, but I'm actually I've got some kind of a congestion thing going on, so I'm laying low.
Well, you sound fine, girl.
and I'm making and I'm calling my right wing asshole representative every day with another one of my concerns about one of the things that Trump is doing. And he's got an office in 3 different cities in his district, so I pick a different city every day. And that's what I can do at my age and with
And
my physical limitations. I'm doing
Pe-
everything I can, and go ahead. I'm sorry. I'll be quiet.
First of all, no, you don't have to be quiet, but let me just say this, Peggy. Let me just tell you that that's an important thing to do. I haven't been, let me just be honest with you all. I've been telling people to call, I've been telling folks to do all these different things. I haven't had the time to go ahead and call because I'm preparing all these shows, but I figure I've absolved myself of guilt by making sure I've gotten a whole lot of people to call. But I am going to spend some time. I'm going to take out an hour and I'm going to call every single one of my representatives and I'm going to try to fix a time on which to actually do that. But folks, what Peggy is doing is important. And that's not, and let me tell you what else Peggy is. Peggy is a great supporter of this show, like many of you in the chat. I'd love all of you to be supporters of this show. Continue, Peggy. Thank you.
Also, I'm only calling anybody that is a Republican representative because my assumption is my Democratic representatives have been doing the right thing. So they really don't need to hear from me. But my Republican representatives at the state level, at the county level, at the city level, at the federal level, they need to hear from me because they need to hear that they're the ones that need to hear that what they're thinking is wrong.
Can I add a
And
corollary to that? If I may add a corollary, I'd like to tell folks not if you have the extra time, call the Democratic rep and give them a spine. In other words, go ahead and say we have your back. We have your back. Keep doing the
right,
right things. We have your
yeah,
back.
yeah. Thank you for doing the right thing. You're right about that. I need to do that. Just maybe once a week, pick one and call them.
Right.
So I'm doing the best I can, and I'm loving seeing that everybody's hitting the streets. I can't hit the streets anymore, but I'm happy to watch them. And yeah,
I want to ask you
I've had to
something,
think
Peggy.
about.
Peggy, I want to ask you something because this has been very upsetting to me, and maybe I should try to get in touch with some more activists that are on the streets. Because here's the thing: watch the 6 o'clock news, watch the cable news, and I know there are demonstrations occurring in front of federal buildings around the country, in front of state houses around the country, and that is not being shown on national TV. They're acting as if we're acquiescing to this takeover by fascists.
I quit watching TV when 9/11 happened.
Yeah.
I had been hurt at work and I was stuck in bed. I don't watch TV. I have not watched TV, but I feel that I am probably one of the best informed people because I don't watch TV.
Okay, good. But let me just tell you, I have to watch TV for you then, my dear Peggy. I have to
I
watch it for
know me
everybody
too,
else.
and I greatly appreciate all the TV watching everybody else does, but I just can't watch it.
I hear you, girl. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. Anyway, thank you for calling, sis. Anything else you want to say before I try to get somebody else to call in?
Nope, get somebody else. I'm
Uh,
just sitting here listening.
Thank you, sis. Have a great one. All right, folks, that was Peggy Lopez. Peggy has been an activist for a long time. And when she went off to Mexico, I said, you know what, Peggy, when you get back into town, it's going to be a happy. No, I think you went to Mexico after the election. I don't remember when it was. Anyway, but I kind of had her believing, or I don't think I had her believing. I was trying to believe it all, that it was all going to be okay. But you know what? I was fooled like many others. Bree says MSNBC has been showing all the protests, Egberto. Really? I haven't. Well, maybe that's because I have to look at several channels at the same time that I missed it. But I would have hoped to see more of it. All right, brother Magner is on the
AI is
chat
keeping
right now. Brother Magner, talk to me.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Great hearing your voice, sir.
Yeah, sorry about my absence. I've been out of town working, and then so my hours changed, and I've been working 13, 14-hour days, so I couldn't really participate with you.
Okay, well that's
I
great,
wanted
but
to.
just realize you were missed. Go ahead.
Well, thank you very much. This is very kind of you. I wanted to mention I appreciate Breach with the 5 phone call link. Something that I've been using since 2000 with Bush is MoveOn.org,
Right.
and I suggest everybody, if they're not already on that, to look at it. You can sign up for texts. It will give you petitions for local and for regional issues, and you can periodically check on the site for petitions you want to look at, and that will help. Also, just supporting each other, and the FAFO stuff is pretty addictive.
Yes, it
I'm a
is.
terrible I told you so. Yeah, I'm a terrible I told you so person, but we can't exclude people even if they excluded us in the past.
Right.
And so we need to welcome people that are starting to see things a little bit differently. Unfortunately, it's for selfish reasons, but I figured out a long time ago that actually everything we do is selfish to some point. It's impossible
Right.
to get away from being selfish. So we do have to look at these people, if they are coming around, as friends, and build a bridge.
Man, love you
And
for that, Patrick. You are so right, Patrick. Let me tell you that I have reached this stage in my life now where I don't consider the folks, the MAGA and all these folks that I think are crazy. I don't consider them enemies. I consider them friends in waiting,
yeah,
or family in
they,
waiting, brothers and sisters in waiting.
they can make it difficult, but I just wanted to say hi and just put in my 2 cents.
Well,
And
thank you,
I
brother.
think a couple. You're welcome. If Ray is listening, I've been listening to his phone calls, not this week, but last week, and I see he is where I was with Bush in Iraq, and an album that I think he might like a lot, and anybody that's listening right now is welcome to check it out. Some people might find it offensive, and it might get you put on a list, but Immortal Technique is a Peruvian rapper,
Hmm.
and he has an album called The Martyr, Mayter, or yeah,
Uh-huh.
and it's fantastic. And it's about 20 years old now, but I mean it's come full circle, and it's completely applicable right now. So if Ray is listening, definitely check out Immortal Technique, The Martyr.
I think Ray was on earlier. We'll see if he calls in. But thank you so kindly, Patrick, and you have a wonderful weekend. Okay, brother?
You too. Thank you.
Take care now. Bye-bye. All right, folks, that was Patrick Magner. Anybody else want to call before we close this stuff down for the last weekday of the week? I'm going to be playing around with doing some lives on Substack. I'm going to try to do some probably Insta live. Something comes up, I may just pop up on Substack to try to get more of our subscribers there. But anyhow, anybody else wants to call in, the number is 281-823-7747. Una vez más es 281-823-7747, 281-823-7747. While I wait to see if anybody, there we go. Brother Ray Brackens. Your ears must be
Yes, sir.
burning. Your ears are burning as you were just referenced by Patrick.
Yeah, I heard Patrick. Thank you for the shout out, brother. And I know what it's like out here trying to work and stay involved. But whatever you can do, we always appreciate your opinion. And I will leave on this note. Mr. Trump, the president, he said that nobody in the White House can say felon anymore. And with that being said, I wholeheartedly agree. If that's his energy, we need to take that energy legislatively and add it to every single job in the world, in this nation. I mean,
I saw, wait, Ray, I saw somebody put that in the, is that for real? Was there an executive order that I missed?
that is a real executive order. He wrote it and signing it his little sloppy, flatlining looking signature that said, carrying forth, nobody shall use the word felon in the White House.
My God,
I
that
can
is
send you that. I can
actually,
send.
yeah, do that. But you know, that is really authoritarian dictatorship kind of stuff, man.
Yeah, that's what he's on. I mean, we knew it. We tried to tell everybody, but they didn't want to listen. They hard
Right.
headed,
Well,
and you know they say a hard head make a soft behind, and a lot of people gonna feel it.
I'm going to go look it up, man. But anyhow, look, thank you, Ray. I got to call, I got to close this baby down, okay?
All right, brother. Well, you have a good weekend. You and the missus enjoy y'all Valentine's Day.
You too, brother. Take care. All right, folks, that was Ray, one of our regulars. Bridge MCP, thank you so kindly. True, you cannot say felon, but we can say fee F Elon. Oh, wow. You cannot say felon, but you can say F Elon. I love that. I love that. Oh my God. Anyway, thank you so kindly for that super chat, Bridge FCP. Love you, girl. We have so many great supporters of Politics and Right. Folks, you want to support Politics and Right? You can go ahead and go to politicsandright.com/newsletter, become a paid subscriber. And you know what? You got a lot of benefits. I don't have the time to tell you about all the benefits that you have right now, but you get a lot of good benefits. You get a lot of support. And I'm going to I'm going to try to give some other stuff to entice people. Maybe we have some tiny chats or something like that among our subscribers. Just again, something to promote doing what we're doing here. So again, become a paid subscriber of our newsletter. Go to politicsandright.com/newsletter. Anyway, I got to get out of here. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I close out this baby. I am what? What am I again? Out!
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right.